The never-ending saga at Sheffield Wednesday is reaching a pretty key point, with reports circulating this morning that the club are about to be put into administration. We've got national and local journalists reporting this. Alex Crook, Talk Sport. Sheffield Wednesday set to be placed into administration imminently. More on Talk Sport through the morning. Alan Biggs, he is local, isn't he, on the ground in Sheffield. Trusted sources suggesting that Sheffield Wednesday are finally on the brink of going into administration. Could even happen today. What is this? 1867 News. Looks like a sort of fan account. We are officially in administration as of 1 minute ago. So lots of people discussing it. So I am going to do exactly the same. And bear with me, this might actually be good news when all your other options have gone and the only thing you can roll on the dice is a 1, but they won't give you the dice to even roll it. When you get the dice and you can roll a 1, sometimes you have to take the 1. And even though lots of people are going to be very angry about this, from the outside, people will just see Wednesday administration minus 12 points, because that is what happens immediately in the EFL when a club is put into administration. But if, as I have, and I'm sure if you've been watching this video, or you're watching this video now and you've been watching the previous videos about this, you've been keeping in touch with this, you're probably like, well, okay, we've arrived at a point that nobody really wanted us to, but if it is the only way forward now for Sheffield Wednesday to move away from the ownership of Mr. Chansiri, to reset, get a new owner, and come back in whatever shape, form, or fashion that looks like, then I'll take it. I'll take it right now. So, yes, that is my take immediately, that no one wants to go into administration. No one wants minus 12 points. What else are we going to do here? Let's just retell the story really, really quickly. So, Mr. Chansiri into Sheffield Wednesday in a blaze of glory. And it should be pointed out, because we'll talk about Mr. Chansiri and we'll talk about the EFL, that when he came in, he threw tons of money at it and he very nearly got Sheffield Wednesday into the Premier League. And ifs, buts, maybes, if they win the playoff final in 2016, and that's how the death of 1,000 cuts, that's nearly 10 years ago. Was it 2016? I think it was, wasn't it? Hull beat them in the playoff final. Then we are definitely not sat here today having this exact conversation. I'm sure some of you will argue in the comments, Mr. Chansiri is Mr. Chansiri, and we would have ended up here anyway. But I think it's important to say that he did come in and spend and got close to the Holy Grail. He gambled, he missed, he failed, and it's been a complete disaster. Obviously, since then, slow, as I say, death by 1,000 cuts into the COVID era. Points deduction there. First rumblings of a bit of chaos. Stadium sale put into the wrong year. Minus points. Relegation, League One. Okay. That felt like the warning, the alarm, and Sheffield Wednesday would then come back from then and reset and rise from the ashes. Well, they kind of did. Promoted from League One back into the Championship, but immediate chaos as soon as they came back into the Championship. Was it? Fired the manager that got them up. Weird press conference with Cisco. Weird transfer window. And since they've been back, I mean, let's be frank, they made a really good manager hire with Danny Roll, and he kind of kept them in the division in spite of Mr. Chansiri's ownership and the lack of money. But then we start getting the idea that Chansiri's done. He's not going to put any money in. He'd sell it if he got a good offer. But a good offer to Mr. Chansiri seems to be quite a lot higher than a realistic offer in terms of what actually the club's worth. Big disparity in that. Then we start getting the late payment of the staff at Sheffield Wednesday. We rumble up to this pre-season and exodus, in the words of Bob Marley. Lots of players' contracts were breached, and the likes of Windass and Gassama and Smith, and I could probably name about 15 players who were able to just walk away and go during the summer. Abject season predicted. Lots of predictions of, 24th and 25 points or what have you. But there was one glimmer. And the last time I was optimistic, and I'm kind of optimistic today, I guess the last time was Chansiri had put the manager, Danny Roll, he'd put handcuffs on the contract, so it would cost, we think, $5 million to get him out, which meant that there was that asset still there. And it looked for a cup of tea like Roll was going to come back, which then might entice a buyer, or vice versa. A buyer might entice Roll back. And we thought, are they going to do it? Are they going to do a deal for Wednesday? Come back, Danny, and get a buyer and Mr. Chansiri off into the sunset. It didn't happen. So then we go into the season and yeah, it's been what it's been. And Wednesday are bottom of the table. And I wonder how significant the boycott by the Wednesday fans was in midweek. We did the game as a watch along. I think the attendance was 7,000. That big old stadium. I think there was more Middlesbrough fans there than Wednesday fans. So a big boycott. So I guess the one revenue stream left to Chansiri, other than the TV money, which my understanding, there's a chunk paid at the start of the season and then there won't be any more coming now for a while. Fact check me on that. In fact, I did ask Kieran Maguire about that on one of our interviews. So I think I'm right about that, but feel free to do your own research on that and correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But the last real revenue stream is gate receipts, match day income. And if nobody's turning up, nobody's buying cups of tea, they've still got to police the stadium, they've got to staff the stadium, etc. Maybe, and fair play to the Wednesday fans, maybe that's the straw that's broken the camel's back and Chansiri's looking and going, oh, we're done. It's the end of the road here. Because he's been holding out for a buyer, hasn't he? And I don't want to say I've got sympathy with Mr. Chansiri, but I understand if you're in a losing position, you just want to get out in the best way possible for yourself. Sell to the highest bidder. But unfortunately, the people who are going to buy a football club, I was going to say are smarter than that, but we're talking about Mr. Chansiri, who bought a football club and doesn't appear to be very smart, does he? Or certainly hasn't operationally acted in a very smart way over a decade, as we've said. But yeah, the potential bidders have just waited it out, haven't they? They know that this was the only option left in terms, well, other than the club folding, and I'm sure every football fan doesn't want to see any club fold, and we need these institutions to hold out for the for the goodness of our game. But here we are, and administration, I know you're all here because you like football and you want to see some people kick a ball into a goal, but it's all about business these days. So administration basically means Chansiri hands over control to a third party and they will do their best. Don't have a go at the administrators here, by the way, because they're going to do some things that people are really not going to like. But they will do their best to pass the club on to a new owner. And this is the thing that people don't like because it involves small business. And I've seen this as a fan of Ipswich and it's not nice, but they'll try and do deals with creditors. And that means people are going to be owed money by Sheffield Wednesday and essentially by Mr. Chansiri. And they either ain't going to get it or they're not going to get a lot of it. And I think that's where I understand. There'll be a lot of anger around this, but where I really understand the anger the most is, and it makes me quite upset to talk about it, if there is a small business based in Sheffield whose primary income came from Sheffield Wednesday, and they are likely to go bust because of this, then that is terrible, terrible news. That is people's livelihood, that don't deserve that, do they? We can talk about minus 12 points. We can talk about staff not being paid when it's, someone's life being thrown up in the air. that don't sit well with me, as someone who's self-employed and kind of entrepreneurial myself. If someone just took that away from me and it was gone, I'd pivot, I'd try my best, but what a dagger through the heart for those people. So, yeah, what's going to happen is Wednesday will go into administration. One thing that's different from my experience of this as an Ipswich fan back in, what was it, like 2002, we have a transfer window now. So what happened at Ipswich is immediately the best players got sold off. And let's be honest, with Wednesday, there's no asset base there anymore. I'm not disrespecting the players who are there, but the ones that were able to get other clubs and get out of Dodge already did in the summer. And no one can move now until January unless the administrators take a view and say, oh, this player on X amount per week, release him, get him out, let him go on a free, do a deal with him, let him go to another club. So it could be that players' contracts, if they can make an agreement with the player, are torn up. Obviously, the players have signed a contract. They're owed the money from Wednesday. But yeah, we get into a very sticky situation with people being owed stuff and administrators and all of that. And this is why the administrators are spinning plates and juggling balls, aren't they? Because you are never going to get the best deal for everyone. There's the fans, there's the players, there's the creditors, involved in this, the staff at the club, that aren't players as well. And there's Mr. Chansiri as well, but I'm not sure anybody. So most people will be putting him at the bottom of their priority list here. On pitch, yeah, they'll be given a -12. I mean, who cares? Who gives a shit, really, if there's small creditors that might be having their lives turned upside down. Wednesday are bottom of the league. They're very likely to get relegated anyway, other than a miracle managerial performance by Henrik Pedersen. Maybe a takeover in January, we thought, might be able to turn the needle. Maybe chaos at other clubs, points deductions at other clubs. But Wednesday were going to go down anyway, and they are where they are. Forget about on pitch. This season's irrelevant now. I think the most important thing is that you safeguard the future of the club and you get safe passage to a good new owner. And yeah, off pitch, I think I've already said what's going to happen. The administrators are going to try and spin the plates. And unfortunately, when there's this much to go round and you need this much to satiate all of these people, everybody's going to be disappointed. And that just is what it is in a capitalist society. Business sometimes goes right, business sometimes goes wrong, and we clean up the mess, we try and move on, and we just want as few lives to be ruined as possible. Sounds terrible. That's the best case scenario, really. I hope the future that the administration's going to suck. And again, I don't care if Sheffield Wednesday break a points record and score 8 points or whatever. I'm sure the Wednesday fans don't care. I care about the small creditors and the long-term future of the club and people that are owed money. And that includes players. Not all players are multi-millionaires, by the way. Players have commitments on mortgages and long-term commitments that they thought were going to be paid off. So, have sympathy for players as well. I know people very much don't do that, and players are in a very privileged position. But I don't accept the premise that just because you make lots of money that you're not affected by, big problems in business and people welching on those agreements. Have some standards with your morals here. Those morals should apply whether you're selling the cups of tea in the stadium or you're a creditor or you're Barry Bannon, who has been great to the club, but, makes a lot of money, a very talented football player. So, I think our morals have to be on line with that, but free speech ahoy. You view it how you see fit. Look, there's going to be a lot of anger about this. If you want, you can write a comment moaning about Mr. Chansiri, calling him an idiot. That's fine, but are we not past that now? It's done. Yeah, I agree. He's messed it up. Call him whatever names, but do we not need to move forward now and look at the new Sheffield Wednesday post-administration and hope that there's a great owner there ready to come and take a big historic club and run them in a way befitting of a big historic club that's not happened certainly for the best part of a decade, has it? So you can moan about Mr. Chansiri, but it reminds me of some advice I got when, about arguing with your missus. It's like, sometimes your missus just wants you to listen to her whining. So you don't want to go, oh, so-and-so was mean to me at work. You don't want to go, well, what did she say? Was she actually that mean? What are you going to do to sort it out? Sometimes she just wants you to go, yeah, she was really mean to you. Give me a cuddle, yeah? We're past cuddles with this, I think now. So I'm in the sort out mode. So moan about Chansiri all you like, but it's done. He's gone once this is into administration. He's made a huge loss. He's right royally effed it up. Can we focus on the new owner? People are also going to lash out at the EFL. I understand people are angry, and I understand people lash out when they're angry. I get it. I'll say a couple of things. The EFL has changed a lot since Mr. Chansiri bought Sheffield Wednesday. Could the EFL over the years have done better with owner stuff? Yes, of course they could. But you're almost in a rule maker, rule breaker situation. Whatever the EFL do, there will be inept people who are going to do a terrible job as owners and bend and break rules. And yes, I am annoyed about the Wigan situation where in COVID they were sold and then the owners immediately put them into administration, and you're like, how has that got through the owners and directors? As I say, new owners at the new CEOs and whatnot at the EFL, things are different. Yes, we would love the owners and directors test to be completely infallible, but I reiterate, Mr. Chansiri spent loads of money, and if he'd won the playoff final, nobody would be saying he was a bad owner. It's what's happened since then. And yes, could we take money in bond when someone buys a football club that allows it to run for an entire year if they breach EFL directions? Yes, that would be great. Could we do, like when old people have to retake their driving test? Should we be doing an owners and directors test every year to check this? I mean, we could. The business plans are there. They're asking for accounts up front. They're doing better. You can shout at the EFL. I disagree, personally. It was a long time ago, and it's been a death by 1,000 cuts. And it's on their watch. But sometimes you can try your best and do your utmost. And Chansiri's will Chansiri. I just want to finish by trying to be positive here. It sucks when clubs get into administration. It sucks when clubs are deducted points, and league tables look stupid with points deductions in, don't they? They don't just quite look real. It sucks even more when small businesses, major creditors are football clubs, and they go under and people's lives get ruined. All of those things suck. But I want to try and be positive. This is the end of the road in terms of Chansiri making excuses and stringing things out. This is him pressing the nuclear button. This is the last thing he can do. And that potentially could be a good thing for Sheffield Wednesday if they get through the administration, they get through the season, and they can restart in League One or wherever they end up with new owners. They've got a giant fan base, a great history, and they can come back as a great club. Fingers crossed. So I want to end with that positive message. Look, you can say what you like in the comments. I believe in free speech. So take with a pinch of salt me saying don't moan about Chansiri. Don't moan about the EFL. You can moan about them if you want. It's a free country. It's a free world, isn't it? But get your comments in on this. Sheffield Wednesday set for administration. I need to calm down, don't I? Have a great day, everybody.